to close out the week. All right, and I believe we are okay to get started. So let's go ahead and start. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for July 25th, 2019. Qs and SPY gapping down a little bit and closing here. SPY down 0.49 and Qs down 0.95. Now, we weren't able to talk about the market wrap coming into today because it was out yesterday. But even before yesterday, going into to yesterday, we're talking about how recovery from this red bar was putting us back to bullish. Okay, so the daily uptrend is remaining intact, and we were recovering. That led to new highs there, and then today we're getting a little bit of a pullback from those highs. So doesn't really change anything from yesterday. So we're still going to be bullish going into tomorrow, bullish on the larger time frames and bullish on the day trading, the shorter time frames here. We don't really have a nice pivot to work with, so we'd have to see a pullback. There's some well-defined support in here. So the low of that red bar there is 190.80. So this is where we can start to talk about the market weakening and looking for an opportunity to start a bearish bias. But as long as this support holds, then so does the uptrend. Okay, so we're just following the trend here. Notice how in the last even weeks that really the most closest we got to bearish was here. We did switch to a neutral bias, wanted to see if we were going to get through that pivot and get follow through, and we never did. So just following the trend here. There have been times the market looked like it wanted to pause, take a rest, but the uptrend continues. Okay, so going into tomorrow, still going to be a bullish bias, and pullbacks are viable. All right. So what I'm going to get into now is something that I saw today that I was also a victim of, and that is shakeouts. Shakeouts, very, very frustrating, right? Easy to get annoyed when you get shaken out of or feel like someone's going after your orders there, but it's just a part of trading. Sometimes price will explore lower, find out there are no more sellers, and then price will reverse. So let's take a look at first the play that I had on the TRN. So this, we played the TRN here. Okay, we played this breakdown here. Now, we're going to talk about how do we know that it's a shakeout and not just something that is breaking, right? Something that is just ending the trend. Because we will see times where, yeah, for instance, this will try to go lower, and then you get this pop right here, right? And so while you see this kind of pop up here and maybe you're in it and your stop is somewhere in this area, you think, well, is this a shakeout? Should I re-enter on this short, right? What we want to know is that bar, right? The bar that creates the exit, okay? Is it going to get follow through? If it does, don't replay it, right? Okay, so what should it look like if it is a shakeout, okay? So we can look at this TRN, for instance, right? And we got in it as it was breaking down here. And we got this bar against us. Now, this didn't take out our stop. We were still in it. And what happened? We got this green bar. Of course, that turned the play negative, right? But it put in an inside bar and then right back down. So no follow through. So that's the key here, where you get the bar. Fortunately, in this case, we did not get shaken out, right? And then right back down. Now, where did we actually get shaken out here? It's on this 15-minute bar here, right? Put the stop above the base now. Ends up, that was a little bit too tight, right? It broke above, right? Put in an inside bar and right back down. So no follow through to the bar that gets you out. So that is the key, rather than just kind of jumping back in or, using that stop again, right? I don't know if you've ever experienced that. You're sure this is going to work, and then it gets you out, and you're just determined and stubborn to make this work. So you get right back in, take another loss, right? And that, right, we definitely don't want to be doing, right, is just letting kind of our emotions or stubbornness get control of us. So what we have to do is define exactly what we have to see and what conditions will allow us to get back in. All right, so let's take a look at another example here. Okay, here is the DBD. Okay, so the DBD I'm using because I know someone in the room kind of experienced. Look, there's one here, right? I could see someone getting shaken out here. Notice as it went down, came right back up and did not want to go any lower. All right, so that is a signal that that is a shakeout. Okay, again here, broke down. Maybe that you had your stop here, right? Depends on what your management is, what your management style is, right? And then you get this red bar, right? And that shakes people out. I'm sure people, in addition to the person I was talking to earlier who got shaken out, I'm sure it's not just them, right? Because look at this volume here. Came in, shook people out, and then reversed right away. Okay, so you see the similarities there. That's your cue. You can get back in. You can get back in over the inside bar or the negation of that exit bar. Okay, so right here, right, you can get back in right over that 76. Okay, and then on the TRN, all right, it was on the 15-minute here, right underneath that bar under 68. Okay, all right, because I wouldn't advise anyone to say, don't use a stop so you don't ever get shaken out, right? That can lead to some big disasters if you're not careful. The important thing, right, is that if this happens, which sometimes it will happen, it's not that always going to be a situation where you're too tight. Of course, plenty of times it will be, if you go to break even, kind of just because it feels nice or nice to reduce risk, right? So this, wasn't really anything different than my normal management, but shakeouts just happen. They don't really care what your management is, right? So sometimes real shakeouts will happen. That's exactly what happened on the TRN. Okay, so I wanted to go over that because I just saw it a couple times. I think it's one that we have to just kind of reinforce, and I think it's not easy, which is why this isn't the first time that I've gone over shakeouts, right? And you've seen it too, where I have a play open and then we get out of it in the shakeout, and you see it get called right back in the announcement box, right? And I tell you what the entry and the exit is. In this case, I did not. So this one did get me, but I think it's one of those lessons that we just have to reinforce. Okay, so hopefully this is something that you can use in your trading as well to kind of recover from those shakeouts and know when to get back in rather than get in something, have it not work, think it's a shakeout, not sure if it's a shakeout, get back in, turns out really the play was just over. Okay, so just wanted to go over that because I saw it because we discussed it in the room today, and so I think it'll be something that will continue to show up as we continue to trade, especially with all the plays that we're getting. All right, so going into tomorrow, just to recap, Qs and SPY, still bullish on the Qs and SPY. All right, uptrend remains. We identified the area here on the Qs and SPY where we would need to get to here on the SPY. We are looking at 296.90. If we get under that, we can start looking for some kind of bearish setup. But for now, bullishness remains. All right, so hopefully you did well today. If not, we'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week. All right, so hope you have a nice rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.